Lopez, and I lost one of my best friends.
He passed away 5 years ago.
And I lost a brother.
I lost my mother.
Both my uncle and father.
Now my 2 sons.
And I lost my mom.
Lost one of my best friends. His name is Alberto Lopez. I lost him when I was a junior in high school. When you lose a friend, I think that's probably one of the worst things that can happen, especially in high school, in a place where friends are everything. When you're young, you think, life is just, you're immortal when you're young, nothing can happen. I remember my friend had actually paged me. I got home and I called him back and he was like, oh, brace yourself. Alberto's diagnosed with leukemia. And I'm like, well, okay, well, he's just going to take an antibiotic and he's going to be good, nothing to worry about, we're in high school, we're juniors, we haven't even finished our senior year yet, nothing's going to happen, just in your head, that's all you think of is just, everything's fine, what do I have to be worried about? Well, I think it was mainly during chemo, when he was under chemotherapy, he just didn't seem interested in anything I was saying. I was just like, yeah, that's great, whatever, and I just thought it was a personal thing, like, whoa, maybe it's because I haven't called him that much, or I would speak about something that happened. Oh yeah, my stupid teacher, look at what he did. He gave me an F in this. And honestly, it didn't even feel like it bothered, like, well, here I am. I'm in the hospital, I'm going to die. You did notice changes though. He wasn't the same, during his last times that we spoke. As far as when visiting him, when he was under his coma, I think that was one of the most terrible situations around that. That's when it really just hit the heart, and it was just his mother, him, and I, and we sat there, and we all had to go one at a time. We had our masks on and everything, and when we go in, he was just laying there, and there's no movement, just that respirator was it that just kept pumping up and down. And as far as impact goes, I still miss that, like that camaraderie, that genuine camaraderie. I still remember all the great times we had, so that didn't stain any of the past that we had. So I think it just brings forth more memories. With his family, I just think they're like they're just the greatest family around. He's so strong with how much troubles they've been through. It's never a quick death. You go through chemotherapy and thinking that everything's gonna be okay in the end, and ultimately it just comes right back to haunt you again, and it just strikes. And this is Alberto's house. This is where he was born and raised. This house holds a lot of memories, just a lot of good times, a lot of laughter.
Before we found out what it was, he started to get really tired, like exhausted, and sleep a lot, and his joints would hurt. Okay. And I thought it was because he practiced the guitar, because he was starting to play the electric guitars. Okay. But when and bruised easily, easily, he started to lose weight. Mm-hmm. So we took him to the doctor, and we were not home when he called, and when I called the doctor back, he told me on the phone what it was, so I was like in shock. He just told me, take your son to the hospital right now. He needs to be admitted because he has leukemia. Like that. Like, I tell you, that's your worst nightmare, because you want to help. As a parent, you feel like it's your job.
Yes.
To take care of your kids.
Yes.
And make it okay. But you can't. Mm-hmm. It's out of your hands. I remember he told me, are you scared? And I go, yeah, because we don't know what it is. We don't know what this is, leukemia. And he says, oh, I'm not scared, Mom, don't worry. He told me that. And I was, we were worried about him. Mm-hmm. So it always stayed on my mind because he was giving us comfort. And I think he knew unconsciously, mm-hmm. And that was the last time we talked. From there, they took him to ICU. And when they took him there, he squeezed my hand once. He never spoke again. From there, he fell into a coma, and he didn't wake up again. So that's when faith comes in. And we have to trust God that He knows better than us why things happen.
With lymphoma, we felt very optimistic about the outcome because my mom had a really great attitude. She had a really good oncologist. She went through chemo and was religious about doing all the follow-up treatment, and she, was a survivor. She called me up on the phone, "Hi, honey. The weather's great today. How are you? Oh, by the way, they found, a blip on my mammogram. They think I may have breast cancer," and she was just very matter-of-fact. At that point, she had beat cancer before, so getting cancer again for her was no big deal. It was like us getting a cold. So after my mom, got over the effects of the radiation from her breast cancer, life got back to normal, and she was so proud that she beat lymphoma and she beat breast cancer. My mom was very upset when Hurricane Katrina hit. She lost a relative and she went into a very severe depression. And then she started having just general symptoms. Her back hurt. She thought it was her arthritis. She would have bouts of throwing up. She said, "Oh, it's just a stomach flu." We were supposed to go to a wedding, and I called her in the morning and she said, "Oh, honey, I just feel so awful. I don't think I'm going to be able to go." And something told me something was very, very wrong. And I said, "Mom, I'm going to come down. I'm going to take you to the emergency room." It was the following week they actually did surgery to open her up to see what was going on, and there was just cancer everywhere. Then he gave us the bad news that it was pancreatic cancer. My mom just looked at the doctor and said, "Well, you'll cure me, right?" And he says, "Well, I'm going to try." My mom kept forgetting why she was sick. She would say, "What's wrong with me again?" And I said, "Mom, you have cancer." And I remember she said this one time, "Well, it better not be terminal cancer." I said, "Well, we're hoping it's not terminal cancer, Mom." But because she was having memory problems and she was on so many drugs, and I think it was a blessing that she really didn't remember or comprehend all the time what was wrong. The doctor came in. Of course, my mom is just in terrible pain, and I pulled him out to the hallway. "How long does she have, really?" And I was expecting 2 months, 3 months. He said a week. And it was like I got hit in the chest with a train. You just feel like your whole world is upside down.